Forests are meant to return to stillness by morning, shaped by light filtering through trees and the quiet reassurance of daylight. But in remote places, the memory of the night lingers long after the sounds have faded. In this video, we followed 6 times campers realized they weren't alone in the forest, only to leave with unanswered questions carried out of the trees with them.
Or something creepy is following me because it is ice cold behind me.
The journey is, the destination is a YouTube channel created and operated by a solo explorer who documents remote wilderness investigations, often centered around folklore, cryptid reports, and spirit communication. On December 31st, 2024, the creator ventured 3 miles deep into the wooded swampland of Horseshoe Bend, an area previously associated with alleged Bigfoot footprints, strange humanoid sightings, and unexplained activity near an old Seminole settlement site. Unlike casual daytime visits, this return was deliberate and isolated. Surrounded entirely by forest, with only distant highway noise miles away, the environment offered no immediate human presence, only river, swamp, and dense tree cover.
All right, we have made it out to some fairly creepy woods. I've already made the trek. It's about 2.5, 3 miles to get back to this location back here. We're at Horseshoe Bend tonight. I swear to God, that was 2 knocks. Loud as I have chills from head to toe right now because that was so loud and kind of close. For those of you who don't remember, this is the place that I've been before during the day and found. The more research I've done on what Bigfoot footprints look like, this was 100% a Bigfoot footprint.
Within moments of beginning the investigation, 2 loud, deliberate knocks echoed through the woods. The sound was close, unnervingly close, and powerful enough to trigger an immediate physical reaction. The knocks did not resemble random branches falling. They carried rhythm and force. For an explorer already aware of prior experiences in this exact location, including a reported sighting of a black-eyed humanoid figure, the timing felt intentional. The night escalated instantly. The atmosphere shifted quickly when something struck a nearby log with sharp and deliberate force. As he looked around and scanned the wilderness, he found no visible acorns, no falling debris, no clear wildlife explanation.
I'm so on edge. Like, so on edge right now. The hell was that? The hell was that? I don't see any gigantic acorns on this tree. What the hell was that? I don't see anything on the ground that would make that noise. What the heck? Alright, my friends, I was just walking around for a little while trying to get a little bit deeper back in the swamp here, and I kind of heard some weird noises over here, and when I turned, something, it sounded like hit this log. Now my first thought would be that an acorn fell, but this is what looks like a water oak, and I don't see any acorns at all on this thing.
Minutes later, a nearly identical sound echoed from across the river, mirroring the first. The repetition suggested distance and direction. Whatever created it had moved, or there was more than one source. He initiated the Ovilus device near the suspected historical settlement grounds. Words forming, names, fragmented phrases, warnings began emerging from the device.
I'm going to go ahead and run what we call the Ovilus device and see if anybody's out here that wants to communicate with us. I swear that was just another knock that way. That almost sounds like baby coyotes. I have no idea what that is.
No, sir.
No, sir, what? Should I not go any further? Is that what you're saying no, sir, about? What's up ahead? It is a little bit creepy to have.
The temperature dropped noticeably near the swamp's edge. The air felt heavier, and each response layered tension rather than clarity. Whether environmental interference or something responsive, the timing aligned too closely with the most active areas of the forest. Near the location where a large footprint had previously been documented, movement stirred again within dense undergrowth. Moments later, another shape seemed to pass behind a tree, silent fluid making him question whether the presence was benign or deceptive.
But that's that tree branch, the one that's bent over.
Don't trust the bad ones.
I never do trust bad ones. But that, I used to be able to walk down in this area here. The river was out.
Something stirs.
Oh, geez, see? As soon as I get to this area, every time. And it is ice cold over here. What is stirring? I thought that was a damn alligator. Oh. What is stirring? This area over here seems to be full of something. I found the footprints over here. I've seen the creature over this way.
Shadow.
A shadow? Whoa, what the hell is that? I don't know, maybe that was just a shadow the way I turned. It looked like something stepped behind that tree. Is he one of the bad ones?
The responses that followed from the device implied something darker, references to abandonment, darkness, and distrust. The tone of the interaction shifted from curiosity to caution. A sudden crash erupted behind him, as though something heavy had been thrown into the brush. The temperature difference became extreme, ice-cold air lingering at his back despite stable conditions elsewhere. He made a clear verbal boundary, refusing attachment or pursuit, but the forest did not quiet immediately.
Or something creepy is following me, because it is ice cold behind me. Trying not to have a little bit of a panic attack right now, because honestly, I do not trust kids. I do not believe that God leaves children on earth.
Billy.
Hi, Billy. sound like something just got thrown in the woods over there.
Busy.
For what?
Understand.
Okay. I understand that you're busy. I will leave you all to rest, to do whatever you do. Stella, please, all of you stay here.
As he began his exit, heavy movement tracked parallel to his path, large enough to shift branches with weight. The steps were measured, not frantic. Something kept pace briefly before fading into distance. There was no visual confirmation, only the undeniable sound of mass displacing foliage. After several hours in isolation, he reached his vehicle. Even there, faint, unexplained noises persisted.
I'm going to start making my way out of here. There's something big moving right over there. Almost feels like it's moving with me. I feel like something's freaking following me again. I don't like this place at all, man. That wasn't like an armadillo noise. That was something big moving in the branches. It took at least one step.
The night concluded without definitive proof of Bigfoot, spirits, or a humanoid presence. Yet escalation had occurred in patterns. Knocks in response to arrival, mirrored impacts across the river, shadow movement near prior evidence, intelligent device responses near historically active ground, and tracking sounds during retreat. In wilderness investigations, the most significant factor is not always what is captured clearly on camera. It is the consistency of escalation, the environmental shifts without visible source, and the convergence of folklore, geography, and reaction. Meet the creator behind the YouTube channel Broken Capital, joined by collaborator KBO TV. Known for overnight paranormal challenges in high folklore locations, the channel usually moves fast. Enter, investigate, document, leave. On August 23, 2025, that changed. They returned to Cannock Chase, an ancient woodland with UFO sightings, cryptid folklore, wartime experiment rumors, and modern encounters after dark. This time, they stayed overnight, camping near a secluded memorial. What began as a routine exploration became a study in psychological tension.
So this is me and my house. I think the maddest thing about doing this is, one, I didn't want to do it. And two, it's so weird because we go to a place, we film it as quick as we can, get some jokes and get some scares, maybe see something. But now we're having to find excuses to film because everything's weird and you can't leave. So, I mean, look at my view out of my tent. Look at this. Look at that. Carl's throwing me food. Cheers, Carl.
No problem, mate.
Right, we're going to have a minute. Let it get a bit more dark. I mean, it's dark now. It's really dark now. Look at me, all weirded. Oh man, this is an experience. I get scared really easily.
Their tents sat in a clearing near the memorial. Unlike buildings, the woods offered no protection, only thin fabric between them and the darkness. Any light revealed their exact location, broadcasting their presence. At the memorial, tension intensified. Grave markers stood silent, partially lit. Legends were acknowledged, but fear came from exposure. The open clearing offered no defense, and retreat meant stepping into pitch-black terrain.
Oh, here we are. Right. So just up from where we're staying is the fence. Yeah. Right, we just stand on here.
Yeah, but are they there?
Yeah. Wow. What? There's millions. I say millions, but there's lots of flies on me right now. They're all the little grave things. So yeah, I'm not too sure on the history. I know it's like German or Polish or something. I don't want to offend anyone. Is it German?
Yeah, it's German.
Okay, it's German then. And like I said, I don't think there's bodies in here. There might be ashes, who knows? But I think these are just memorials. But yeah, it's still fucking. It's a weird place anyway. And the stories people tell. You know, this place has had everything from mad scientists, werewolves, aliens, black-eyed children. It's endless. The amount of stories to this place. Now, I'm not saying it's sat here saying it's all real and whoa, it's amazing. But what I am saying is, a good story does make a place a hell of a lot scarier.
A sudden impact echoed. Lights moved through the trees. Adrenaline surged. They dashed back to the tents. For seconds, uncertainty dominated. Was someone near?
Which way did we come?
We went. Whoa, that was heavy.
That was very heavy. Oh, people coming with lights. Where? Over there.
Let's get back to the tent.
Coming with lights, go.
Yeah, let's get back to the tent.
You can see people coming with lights. I'm more scared of people than paranormal at the minute.
A light near the tent triggered alarm before being identified as their own equipment. That pause showed how quickly anticipation becomes fear.
Did you hear that little giggle?
No?
Kind of thing.
No? Honestly?
Swear down. Right, let's just find a base. As if a tent's going to make us feel safe.
Well.
Oh, which way was it? See? What is that light? It's next to the tent.
That lamp's on. My lamp's turned on. We're going home.
Deep in the forest, they discovered a massive shelter. Then, a bright light appeared above the tree line, moving in an unusual way. They tried to rationalize it. An aircraft? A trick of perspective? But doubt remained. The forest felt larger, less confined as they tracked the light.
Shh. I'm actually a bit panicky now.
Really open that kid that built that.
Whoa. Bonkers, man. This is bizarre. Who does this shit? Especially in their pyjamas.
You should have put my behind.
I feel like
There you go.
Whoa. What is that?
Huh? Oh,
You
it's a
can-
plane.
You can see it on the camera. It's not a plane. It's not. That's moving weird. What is that? What the is that?
In darkness, distant lights magnify. The moon stayed steady, while this glow shifted unpredictably. Drone, aircraft, or something else, perception was warped by fear. Open woodland can deceive, but standing exposed, ambiguity feels heavier than logic.
What is that?
That big drone.
It's supposed to be the plane. Sounds well weird, though.
Hold up.
What?
There's the moon. Up there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see the moon over there.
Shh. What was that? What did you hear? Don't know. Yeah, this place is waking up, and I want to go to sleep. What was that?
I don't know, do I?
That was like a cough.
Cough.
Like,
I think he's doing this to scare him.
I'm not, honestly, I'm hearing things.
Dawn broke, washing the woods in pale light and dissolving the night's tension. The camera captured quiet tree lines, exhausted faces, and a campsite no longer threatening. Sounds once perceived as danger became distant traffic, birds and morning's rhythm. Hours of listening, reacting, and second-guessing ended with no paranormal confrontation. Disturbances, other people, and the unexplained light, more tangible than legend.
It's now fuck knows in the morning. I haven't slept at all. But we made it. What a fucking mad place. Birds are chirping. Don't know what to say.
No proof confirmed the extraordinary, but questions lingered. What was the shifting light? Aircraft, satellite, or misidentified? Who moved with torches in the dark? In isolation, ambiguity is powerful. Sometimes the lasting impact isn't what's proven, but what remains unexplained. Angelo is the creator behind the YouTube channel 401 Files, recognized for solitary overnight immersions in environments shaped by folklore, wilderness isolation, and reports of unexplained encounters. On December 14, 2025, he moved away from tightly structured investigations focused on a single legend. This overnight was intentionally reduced to the bare essentials. No elaborate setup, no layered protection, just exposure, simplicity, and direct immersion in the environment. Where most would seek added protection from the elements, Angelo chose to limit it because his objective was not comfort, but closeness with whatever the night might reveal.
And there you go, guys, the perfect setup. As you can see, I can lower these if I need to. I've just tied a really quick trucker's hitch on there, so I can slide this up and down to adjust the tension. I can lower it if the rain comes in really hard. I've got a porch now as well for cooking underneath, sitting out, and it's just the perfect setup. A nice big vestibule, porch area, and protection from the bugs.
The shelter system favors mobility over full protection. Lightweight, minimal, and open to the elements. Once everything was set hard in place, he took a quiet moment out on the kayak, drifting across the surface before night fully settled in. With bonfire night approaching and a full moon overhead, he anticipated that the evening would not be entirely silent, expecting distant noise, unexpected sounds, and an atmosphere charged with more than just the cold air. But he had no idea the night was about to take a far darker turn than he could have anticipated. A helicopter suddenly enters the frame, its searchlight sweeping low across the terrain. The mechanical presence cuts through the natural silence, its beams scanning the ground and tree line with deliberate precision before shifting direction.
It's full moon tonight. I'm not sure if you guys believe in the whole full moon theory. You know, that activity can be heightened during a full moon. Certain creatures are more susceptible to be contacted during a full moon, or maybe just weird coincidences can happen during a full moon. What is this coming over here now? This looks like some kind of a search helicopter. There's a big beam coming down from it. It's definitely a helicopter. I can see the communication beacon flashing red to white, but it's got a great big strobe just hitting the ground. Must be looking for someone, maybe a criminal, or I don't know, maybe someone's lost, gone missing. Yeah, it's always a creepy night whenever it's a full moon.
The reason for its presence over the woods remains unclear. What moments earlier felt remote and undisturbed now feels exposed, watched from above, suspended beneath an unseen purpose.
That helicopter seems to be coming over this way. I can hear it in the distance now. Not sure if you guys can hear that deep humming sound. That's the helicopter. It's creepy, I'm not going to lie to you guys right now. I'm right near the water. Don't know if you can see this. But it's creepy.
After the helicopter vanished into the darkness, he made his way back toward his tent. That was when his dog suddenly reacted. Alert, focused on something in the tree line that no human eye could detect. He brushed it off at first, assuming it was wildlife moving through the brush, but the intensity of the reaction lingered. Was it truly just an animal passing through, or something else concealed beyond the edge of sight?
What you found? Lily, this way. Good dog. So as I've been getting out on the boat a lot lately, I started thinking, because it's actually a really creepy feeling being on the water, especially when you've not done it. It's not like a big part of your life. Or what has she seen? Yeah, and anyway, I was just walking past the pond again. Let me see if I can show you this. Don't know if you guys can see it down there. But anyway, I was thinking, can you imagine walking past, right, and the beam of your torch just flicks across the top of the dark, gloomy water, and just as it does at the right moment, you see something bob down, you know, that doesn't look like a fish, doesn't look like something that we are familiar with living in ponds. It just more resembles a humanoid. It looked like somebody with a head and shoulders just submerged really quickly under the water as your light skimmed the surface.
The night ends without visual confirmation. No figures enter the camp. No disturbances breach the tarp's perimeter. Yet the escalation unfolds through accumulation rather than appearance. Full moon folklore, sweeping aerial searchlights, speculation about what moves unseen, transformation myths, and theories of concealment beneath dark water, all converging within the same landscape. In an open shelter beneath a full moon, beside still water, escalation does not depend on manifestation. It depends on suggestion and the mind's willingness to follow it. Next incident, shared by Camping with Josh, will spook you to the core. It was supposed to be a relaxing weekend, just Josh, the rain, and a quiet stretch of woodland. He'd just finished work, packed up a warm meal his wife made, and headed into the misty forest for some solo camping. The fog rolled through the trees, heavy and cold, giving the woods that eerie beauty he loved. But that night, beauty turned into something else.
Well then, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest, guys. I was not expecting that. It looks like some kids have put this bed sheet over a tree stump.
As he searched for a good camp spot, Josh stumbled across something strange. A white bedsheet draped over a tree stump like a ghost. He laughed it off, naming it Casper, but deep down it made him uneasy. Still, he shrugged, set up camp nearby, and got to work building his shelter. The rain poured harder, soaking the ground, and the birds rustled above him. Everything seemed fine. Well, only for now.
And I can just hear some mad movement going on in those bushes over there. I can't tell if it's like the rainfall just making quite a commotion, or there may be rabbits or deers maybe walking through, or any dog walkers or whatever, I don't know. Bit spooky. It'll be just the rain in a way.
Later that evening, as Josh chopped firewood, he heard something. Movement, heavy and deliberate, in the bushes behind him. At first, he thought it was just the rain or a small animal, but the sound didn't fade. It circled him, crunching through wet leaves and twigs. He stopped talking, listening closely, and realized the birds had gone completely silent. That's when the fear kicked in.
When the camera was off, I heard some really heavy movements in the bushes, and
Every camper knows that silence in the forest isn't normal. The birds always sing unless something big is nearby. His gut told him to pack up. There should be birds singing, he whispered nervously to the camera. Why did they stop? Then he saw it, a shape in the bushes, tall and still. When he stared, it dipped down behind the trees. Heart pounding, Josh stopped filming. Off camera, he heard the movements again, louder this time. Then, a dog barked somewhere close. Someone or something was out there. That was it. He grabbed what he could, left his tarp and gear behind, and ran out of the woods. As he made his way through the misty field, the sound of footsteps followed.
and cook some food. My missus made a nice there's a dog behind me. Maybe it was a dog this whole time. It's a pig. Right.
He could hear branches cracking, dry leaves crunching. Someone was still behind him. Josh pushed through the underbrush, climbed a fence, and didn't stop until the forest was far behind.
To something pushing through the bushes, and I then noticed while I was sort of recording and also off camera that there was movement in the bushes. Now you could see in the video it wasn't dark by the time I was getting spooked. It was starting to, maybe the next 40 minutes or so. And I could see the black silhouettes of these bushes moving, and I could hear pushing, I could hear footsteps. But this was mainly happening when I weren't speaking and it was off camera.
Josh shared his story online. He'd been camping alone for years and never felt that kind of dread before. Maybe it was just a nosy dog walker, maybe not. But the feeling that something was watching him, waiting until he went quiet to move, stayed with him. He even remembered another time when a group of strangers approached his camp in the middle of the night, shining torches and asking strange questions. That memory alone was enough to remind him what every solo camper eventually learns. The forest is peaceful until it isn't. In his video, Josh ended with a simple truth. If you ever feel like something's not right, it's probably because it isn't. When it's time to leave, leave. Whatever moves through those forests may never be fully identified, yet each account stands as a reminder that isolation can amplify even the smallest disturbance into something lasting. In remote wilderness, the true impact is not always defined by what is witnessed clearly, but by what remains unresolved long after the trees fall silent.